Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today I'm gonna be breaking down how to lean bulk, because bulking is not an excuse to gain an exorbitant. Is that how you say that? I think that's how you say that. Hey Siri, what does the word exorbitant mean? It's a word, okay? Bulking is not an excuse to gain an exorbitant amount of fat. You wanna keep your fat as low as possible while you're still gaining muscle. But before I get into that, make sure if you're new here, and not subscribed, go ahead and press that subscribe button down below to support me. I really appreciate it. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, a meal plan, or a training plan developed specifically for your goals in mind, go ahead and email me, devindoescoaching@gmail.com. I will also be linking that email in the description down below. Follow me on the gram. We finally hit 10K on the gram. So, okay, we're gonna hit 6K on here as long as you press subscribe, support me, help me out. My 10K is your 10K, my 6K is your 6K, okay? On to the video. Obviously, art imitates life, and by art, I mean my YouTube videos, and by life, I mean my life. So I'm currently on a lean bulk. This means that you are slowly adding calories to your maintenance to be in a caloric surplus. This does not mean I'm going from eating very clean, very healthy because I like to see my abs. I want to put on muscle, so now I'm going to eat Taco Bell and Chipotle and McDonald's simply because of the fact that I'm gaining weight. So fuck it, weight is weight. Here are my tips on how to lean bulk. Let's go. Keep your food as clean as possible. It's going to require a lot of willpower from you, because when you have a set caloric limit, it's way easier to eat 3,000 calories when you're eating like donuts and muffins and steak and all that kind of shit. Like, it's way easier to hit that 3K calories, but we want to keep our body composition as lean as possible. So take your regular foods, you know, your chicken, your turkey, your lean ground beef, your fish, your salmon, all of that, and simply eat more. You do have to work on your appetite, and you do have to sit there and get the meals down. Now, for example, like I'll make burgers with the Dave's bread and some ground turkey, cheese, and some Chick-fil-A sauce.
Beautiful.
Pasta, things like that. You don't have to necessarily suffer. That doesn't mean you're hitting a switch going from healthy to unhealthy simply for the sake of bulking. Also, make sure you're drinking at least your body weight in fluid ounces of water as well. But anyways, my second tip is going to be slowly titrate up the amount of calories that you're adding into your day-to-day. If your maintenance calories is 2,000 calories, do not just go from 2,000 to 3,000 calories within one day, okay? That's not how this should work. You're probably gonna gain fat way more than muscle, whereas if you slowly up your calories, say from 2,000 to 2,300, and then you make progress at that level and slowly add your calories up. This is a big thing that people don't think about when they are bulking: insulin sensitivity. You cannot just go straight into a bulk. Even if you're skinny fat and you're like, I need to get big, I need to get big, I need to get big, you need to make sure that you're insulin sensitive. What this means is when you're eating food, specifically carbs, you want to make sure that those nutrients are going to the muscle as opposed to being stored as fat. In order to do this, if you are skinny fat, if you do have a somewhat higher body fat percentage, you should do a cut wherein you are establishing your insulin sensitivity. You're training with progressive overload. So when you are bulking, you are building muscle, not just building fat, because a lot of people will go from like, oh, I'm skinny fat, I want to get big, so I'm just gonna bulk, and you're just getting bigger, fatter, and you're like, well, this isn't what I thought I would look like, but fuck it, because I guess I'm just gonna go bear mode. Okay, that's not entirely necessary. If you're over 20% body fat, I do not suggest just going into a bulk unless there are other factors at play. For example, steroids, unless there's like steroids in play or anything like that. But nobody who subs to me does steroids, right, guys? We don't do steroids over here except for Devin. But Devin is not do as I say, not as I do, and probably really shouldn't be doing steroids, because sitting here talking to you guys is my job. But if it's not your job to do fitness, probably like keep your health 150% and check as much as possible and just vibe, you feel me? It's cool. You don't have to fuck up your heart and your liver and your kidneys and your blood pressure, you feel me? Like, people don't talk about that because it's not cool to talk about that. It's just cool to show your abs and your biceps, and nobody talks about the other side of steroids, which is like fucking life-threatening. Why do you think bodybuilders die? My next step is actually boring as fuck. Track your macros. And you guys are gonna be like, Devin, I fucking do not want to track my macros. I hate it. And I just simply cannot be expected to do it. Here's what a lot of people do when they're bulking, okay? Does this sound like you? I'm gonna eat more food. Like, what is more food? What was your maintenance calories? Yesterday I ate this much rice, so today I'm gonna eat that much rice. And then the next day, do you remember how much rice you ate yesterday? Nothing here is particular. You don't know how many grams of rice, how many ounces of chicken, how many ounces of beef. You don't know shit about shit, so you're just eyeballing it and you're like, yeah, that looks about right. That looks like more. So make sure that you're tracking your macros. You want to eat at least 1 to 1.5 per pound of body weight. Just make sure that you're keeping track of everything. You can hire me to make a meal plan for you, but if you want to do it yourself, you can also go to freedieting.com. This website will give you an idea of where you need to be for your maintenance, and then start adding 300, 400, 500 calories to that until you hit a plateau. Another large aspect of this is simply training harder. You're going to have more nutrients available to your body, which means you're going to have faster and better recovery, as well as more energy to push while you are training in the gym. So if you're on a bulk and you've you've been bulking for at least a month and your numbers have not gone up, you need to start applying progressive overload to your training. Otherwise, you're gonna be eating more food but not having a higher output, which equals fat because you're not building muscle. So use the app Rep Count. I have all my clients download it and track your lifts. Input, okay, for dumbbell press, I lifted like 50 pounds. Next week, I wanna hit 52.5. And then next month, I wanna hit 55, so on and so forth. That's called progressive overload. You just want to make sure that you're getting better each training session and using those extra calories, those extra macros, those extra nutrients essentially to push yourself. When should you stop bulking? A lot of people go, I weigh 180 right now. I'm gonna stop bulking when I get to 200. Okay, so what if halfway through that, you stop gaining muscle and you start to only gain fat? You're just gonna keep going to 200 because fuck it, because that's the plan. Do you even know how much muscle you're gaining in respect to fat? Purchase the scale at Texity. I believe that's how you say it. It's available on Amazon and it will show you your biometrics. Your biometrics being muscle mass, water weight, body fat, bone density, all those things. Obviously, it's not the most 100% accurate thing in the world simply because you're stepping on a scale. It can show you whether you're moving up or down in specific metrics. So if you know you want to gain muscle and minimize fat gain, which means that you still will gain fat, but you want to gain more muscle than fat, that means you step on the scale over time while you're bulking. I've gained 1% of body fat and 2 pounds of muscle. And then if you get to a point where you're only gaining body fat, and you're not gaining muscle mass anymore, that means it is time for a mini cut. You want to reset your insulin sensitivity because your body is no longer absorbing those nutrients from muscle. It is storing it as fat. We're not just bulking for the sake of getting fat. We are bulking for the sake of gaining muscle. So key points, you guys, slowly up your calories. Do not eat dirty ass food for the sake of bulking. The third point is always measure your food and always keep track of your macros. Fourth point being train harder, use those nutrients to actually grow. And lastly, keep track of your biometrics, your muscle mass, your fat percentage, and your water weight, all of that. That is the video, you guys. Hopefully you did find it somewhat helpful, somewhat informative. Like I said, if you are interested in coaching, go ahead and email me, devindoescoaching@gmail.com. Be fucking safe, you guys. Stay fucking happy as much as you can. And like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's done, and Devin is out of here, boy.